Thanks for joining us again. We've been talking for the past few minutes on the recent matter of the moment. Not to forget that Matters of the Moment is a news and current affairs program that seeks to look at the news within the news. And today, the news within the news is the peaceful protest of local government pensioners in Cross River State. Of course, these pensioners took this protest peacefully to the governor's office, of course, and our own very dear head of service, Barrister Basi Okon, was right on hand to speak for government, and we considered it very pertinent to bring him on Matters of the Moment to help allay some of the fears on the hearts of the pensioners and, of course, their dependents.
Yes.
So gladly we have him join us now. Good to have you on Matters of the Moment.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Welcome back from that very serious session with those, they call them old citizens?
Yes, that's they call them senior citizens.
Senior citizens. I know it was a wonderful moment for you. So, head of service, first of all, I want to start it this way. For the past 2 weeks running, these pensioners in the local government have been protesting in their different local government areas in the different senatorial districts, and of course today, I think today is their last day.
Yes,
they decided to hear the voice of government, which of course you did that. Let me first of all ask, did they have any right to embark on the protest?
Okay, it is within one's fundamental liberties to associate and express opinion on any subject, but as a body, that body is not known to law. The people that came out on protest today because they handed me a letter to the governor, and the heading of that paper is Association of Local Government Pensioners. There is no such trade union or affiliate in our books. We know the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, but be that as it may, as citizens, they are free to express their views. So that was why I bothered to engage them in the first instance as citizens, but as a body, based on that stationery paper, it is not a union registered under Nigerian law.
Yes, don't you think they were operating on maybe kind of helping the pensioners on that matter?
If you purport to act as a body supposedly registered, but I am telling you as head of service that association is not a registered labor union. We know for pensioners, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners and no other.
Oh, they didn't come under that aegis?
No, they did not come under the aegis of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners. So, to the extent of that so-called Association of Local Government Pensioners, those are not registered group known to our books.
Okay, now, Adrians, there's this concern they raised that for a long time they have written to government stating their problems. They even gave a timeline for government to respond to them, and that was not done. Reason why they embarked on
Okay, that is not a correct assertion, and that was what I told them at the so-called protest, that you have been complaining for years of delayed salaries of local government workers and delayed payment of pension of local government workers. Just 2 weeks ago, as a means of addressing those concerns, the governor directed that the Accountant General of the state take over payment of local government staff salaries and retirees pension for the local government. And in their protest, they are saying that should not be. And I asked them, it looks like you have not thought through what you want. You have been complaining for years, and you compare yourself with the state. The state, no delay. Your local government system, always delayed. And then an official is mandated by the governor who has shown capacity and timeliness in payments to take over your payment, and you say that should not happen. So what do you want to be done? Someone should come from Mars or Pluto to do their payments. And then they said state workers should not work in the local government pension board and the local government service commission. And I told them, you are totally misconceived. I am first a lawyer. Those bodies are what we call state executive bodies. Every local government as a government is a government on its own, quite autonomous. There is no connection between even the two local governments we have in this Calabar metropolis, Calabar South and Calabar Municipal. There's no connection in their administration, no nexus. Nothing connects municipal and south. They are very independent and autonomous. But the Constitution of Nigeria created a system where states coordinate the local governments. The State House of Assembly makes laws for the local governments. That shows you that this anything within the legislative competence of the State House of Assembly, that means the governor too has executive powers in relation to such matters. And the local governments are run based on laws made by the State House of Assembly. And you come out on a protest and say state officials should get off everything local government. You don't want state people to work in local government commission. You don't want state people to work in local government pensions board. And I ask, who will then work there? Who will then coordinate the place? Is it the chairman of Akbabuyo or the chairman of Obanliku or the chairman of Ububra who will now coordinate local government pension matters for all the other 17 local governments?
Okay, now.
The whole exercise or show just looked like something not thought through at all.
Oh, no, sorry. I think the one that we showed this
pension
board.
That is what I'm saying.
As a lawyer, yeah.
Yes.
How can you advise? What would advise of this? Because the bill is because second reading, and there's also the Senate too.
There is a local government pension board in existence.
But
there is a local government pension board in existence, and the pensioners are saying they don't want state staff to work in that board. If you don't want state staff to work in that board, then who will coordinate that board? Which of the 18 local governments will now take responsibility for the management of that board?
Sorry, their agitation is that they don't legal framework that's the board
guiding the operations of the
there is an existing legislation. The one that is before the House, it is still passing through legislative process, which in any case is even going to be overtaken, because at the last Executive Council meeting last Wednesday, the EXCO approved a draft pension reform bill which will harmonize and galvanize everything pension in the state, whether it is for state workers or for local government workers, under one umbrella, under one management.
Yeah, that answers the question. What I would ask at this point is that, are they not aware of these developments? Because
it was well in the news. All the resolutions of that last EXCO were well circulated.
Yes.
But when people already have a mindset a preconceived position, you see this type of manifestations even when you are trying to address those same issues in a constructive and in a more structured manner. They are still up in arms. What are you really up in arms about? Is it that you don't want the status quo that causes delay in your pensions to be altered? Because that's what invariably what they have now said. In one breath you say our pensions and salaries are always delayed, and then in another breath you say that proposition, that directive that will stem that delay, we don't want it. So what do you want?
Yeah, that's the question now. What do you want? HOS, they have a 10-point concern here, which we'll just quickly run through, and then maybe you give a summary of it. Some of it you have adequately given preferred answers to here, because they talk about monthly pensions paid simultaneously to both the states and local government pensioners, ensuring that the local government pensioners are included in government palliative programs. That seems to be very interesting, HOS, because a lot of them say that during the Christmas, state government workers were given some palliatives, but that didn't affect the local government. How do you?
That was an administrative oversight by the same people that manage their pensions and salaries payments. Those who manage for the state took a proposal to get approval for those palliatives to be paid, and it was given. Those who manage for the local governments failed to do so, and they said they will do that in January or February. I don't know if it has been paid. I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Okay, now, HOS, sorry, please. Does this issue too, what would you want them to take back at this point? I mean, the agitation on the government passing into law the bill on local government pension board. What would you want them to?
That bill itself is now overtaken by the one that has been transmitted to the House of Assembly probably last week, Thursday. Okay, since it was a holiday, but I know that transmission has been done. The Attorney General, immediately after EXCO, quickly transmitted all the bills that EXCO passed for transmission for legislative action, which includes a pension reform bill. It's not just for the local government, even for the states.
You've been agitating to say something.
Yes, this one thing here that in the protest that looked like a grand finale, because the stage in Ugoja, and all the local governments in the central and the north, and they call it the grand finale after completing other local governments. Here, there's an issue here that the local government's pensioners were verified in 2024, but they were not paid. Are you aware?
There were more persons than available funds. We had a shortfall of about 600 million naira. The governor gave 10 billion for the period under consideration. We were able to exhaust the whole 10 billion, leaving some list of about 600, totaling 600 million. Both state and local government. It's not only local governments. There were state pensioners too who could not be accommodated because the funds was exhausted.
I think they are happy getting the information from the teller's mouth, the head of service. So that what do you think? What time do you think such funds can be available for them?
The governor has already come public to say in the course of this year he is going to liquidate all old gratuities. That is to say, from 2016 to the present day, he will pay. So it is to pray that God should give him the enablement to do that, but that is his plan. So that going forward, probably from 2027, people will be getting their gratuities on or before the date of their
Just
exit.
before we go, HOS, I know you have said this in the course of our discussion, but to allay the fears and the minds of the pensioners and their dependents and families listening to us now, is the harmonization of pension. Let's repeat it for emphasis sake, because I heard one person say the times are so difficult, the local government pensioners are buying from the same market with the state this thing.
The state
When
pensioners,
will
state pensioners have also not been harmonized.
Okay.
No pensioner, whether state or local government, has been harmonized. What harmonization means is we are now in the era of 70,000 naira minimum wage. If you retire in the era of 3,000 naira minimum wage, and then at that time your 50,000 naira was probably the salary or pension of a director. So you will now be brought from that year 3,000 era, where 50,000 was a very fat sum of money, the salary of a substantive director. You will now be brought to this present day, where the pension of a substantive director is probably about 200,000 naira. So you will be harmonized to the present day rate. That has not happened for anybody yet, because the financial involvement is colossal, is huge.
Yeah, we'll have a part 2 of this discussion on matters of the moment, still looking at the welfare concerns of local government pensioners in another edition of Matters of the Moment. For now, we want to switch over to a 6 o'clock bulletin, but HOS, is a great pleasure to find time out of a very busy schedule to come and allay the fears in our minds on these issues. Government is doing its own bit in all of this, and you've heard it here. The last ESCO meeting decision communique was on all medias, and a lot of these issues were raised there and handled. Sometimes we need to keep pace with what is happening. Keep in touch. What is, I think the lacuna here is that some people have lost out on current decisions of government, with government on this. So we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to go back and hear and have the latest updates on these issues. But suffice it to say, is a people's first government agenda. Thank you, sir, for coming. We look forward to seeing you another time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us. Have a lovely time with us. Stay tuned.